The twin suns of Arinvala rose slowly over the endless dunes, painting the desert with shades of gold and amber. The wind whispered through the sands, carrying with it faint echoes of the past. Among the rippling dunes, a lone scout craft rested, its silver hull gleaming in the morning light. Inside stood Queen Alara, the young ruler of a distant star system, gazing out at the barren landscape with a mix of determination and worry. Alara's world had changed overnight. Her royal guards, the ones who had always protected her, had vanished under mysterious circumstances. Only one remained, a human soldier named Jace Corbin, who had been assigned as part of a joint mission to escort her safely. Unlike the others, Jace had stayed loyal when the rest had disappeared, and that loyalty had become her anchor in the uncertainty surrounding her. She ran her fingers over the smooth edge of the craft's control panel, thinking about the journey ahead. Her kingdom, once bustling with life and vibrant colors, now faced threats that she had never imagined. Political unrest, rumors of interstellar pirates, and strange signals coming from the Outer Rim made the situation more urgent. Yet, here she was, alone with Jace, on a desert world far from the familiar halls of her palace. Jace stood behind her, silent but alert. His human eyes, dark and steady, scanned the horizon for any signs of danger. Despite the lack of weapons in his hands, his presence alone was enough to calm her fears. He had saved her from panic more than once, not with brute strength, but with clear thinking and quiet reassurance. "Do you think anyone will come for us?" Alara asked softly, her voice barely louder than the whispering wind. Jace didn't answer immediately. He took a moment to consider her question, his eyes following the shifting sands. "If the signal reaches them," he finally said, "they'll come, but it may take time." Alara nodded, taking in his words. Hope was fragile, and she knew it, but hearing it from Jace gave her a small sense of courage. She had learned long ago that leadership was not about fear, but about trusting those who stood with you, and Jace had proven he would stand by her. The desert air was dry and crisp. Alara adjusted her cloak, feeling the fabric brush against her arms. Even in this desolate place there was beauty to be found. The dunes rolled like golden waves, and the horizon stretched endlessly, hinting at adventures waiting beyond the next ridge. She imagined the worlds beyond, forests of emerald leaves, oceans that shimmered under alien suns, cities of crystal and light. Yet for now, she remained in the quiet of Arinvala, learning patience and resilience. Jace stepped closer to the ship, crouching to check the small beacon they had set to send signals across the stars. It was a compact device, carefully designed to work even in harsh environments like this desert planet. Its light blinked faintly, sending messages into the void, hoping someone, anyone, would respond. "The beacon is working," Jace said without looking up. "It's weak but steady." Alara felt a small surge of relief. "Good," she said. "We need to hold on until they arrive." They spent the day preparing their camp near the scout craft. Alara learned quickly how to gather energy pods, ration water, and keep the small fires burning at night without drawing unnecessary attention. Jace guided her patiently, never speaking in a commanding tone, only offering suggestions when needed. It was different from the way her royal guards had acted, firm, rigid, protective. Jace treated her as a partner, someone whose decisions mattered, and that respect made her feel stronger than ever. As the sun set, the sky turned a deep purple, stars appearing like tiny diamonds scattered across black velvet. Alara and Jace sat near the edge of the dunes, watching the night unfold. The desert was alive with quiet noises, the hum of the wind, the rustle of sand, and the occasional distant call of a native creature. "I used to think the stars were so far away that they didn't care about us," Alara said, breaking the silence. "But now I see, maybe they're closer than we think. Maybe they're listening?" Jace glanced at her. "Maybe," he said. "Maybe they always are. It just takes patience to hear them." Alara smiled faintly. Patience was not her natural talent, but necessity had taught her well. She had to be ready for anything. A sudden storm, an unexpected visitor, or a challenge that would test her courage. And she had learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the choice to move forward despite it. Night passed slowly. Alara couldn't sleep, her mind racing with thoughts of the kingdom she left behind, of the protectors who had vanished, and of the people who relied on her. She thought of the stories she had heard as a child, tales of queens and soldiers who faced impossible odds yet found ways to survive and thrive. Perhaps, she thought, this was her story now. At dawn, the air was cool and the dunes were bathed in soft golden light. Alara and Jace prepared the scout craft for another day of travel. The beacon still worked, its light pulsing faintly like a heartbeat against the dark horizon. "Ready?" Jace asked, checking the ship's systems. Alara nodded. "Let's move," she said, her voice steady. She had decided that waiting was not enough. She needed to act, to explore, to find answers. The craft lifted off the sand with a quiet hum, rising into the sky and leaving gentle trails of displaced air in its wake. The dunes fell away beneath them, stretching like a golden ocean below. As they ascended, Alara felt a strange mix of excitement and responsibility. She was no longer just a queen in a palace. She was a traveler, a leader, a student of the stars. They reached the edge of the desert planet, where the sky met the black expanse of space. Jace guided the craft carefully, plotting a course to a nearby planet where they could refuel and gather information. The journey ahead was uncertain, but Alara felt a spark of hope. She had Jace by her side, and the beacon was sending messages into the vastness, reaching for allies she had not yet met. As the scout craft left the atmosphere, Alara leaned against the viewing panel, staring at the fading dunes below. "Do you ever wonder what's out there?" she asked softly. Jace smiled faintly. "All the time," he said. "And I've learned that what's out there is often bigger than our fears." "It can be dangerous, yes, but it can also be wonderful." Alara considered his words. She had spent so long surrounded by walls of gold and stone, walls of protection and caution. Now, in the vast openness of space, she felt freedom she had never known, freedom mixed with responsibility, with courage, with the knowledge that every choice mattered. The first part of their journey had begun. They were alone, yes, but not helpless. The stars stretched endlessly before them, and the desert world faded behind, leaving only memory. Ahead lay new worlds, new challenges, and new allies. And with Jace at her side, Queen Alara felt ready to face whatever the universe had in store. For the first time in a long while, she allowed herself to hope. The hum of the scout craft was steady beneath them, like the pulse of life itself. Alara closed her eyes briefly, taking a deep breath. The stars called to her, and she was listening. Tomorrow, they would land on a distant world. Tomorrow, they would meet beings they had never imagined. And tomorrow, the true journey would begin. But tonight, under the twin suns of a desert world now far below, Queen Alara allowed herself a moment of peace. She had lost much, but she had not lost hope. And hope, she knew, was a force stronger than any fear, stronger than any storm. It was the spark that would guide her and Jace through the vast unknown of the stars. And so, as the scout craft sailed silently through the sky, carrying two travelers into the unknown, the adventure of Queen Alara and her human soldier companion had truly begun. The scout craft glided silently through the dark expanse of space. Queen Alara pressed her hands to the cool viewing panel, watching as distant stars streaked past. The twin suns of Areen Vala were now tiny pinpricks of light far behind them, and ahead stretched the unknown, a planet with swirling green oceans and clouds tinged with gold. "This is it," Jace said, pointing to the planet below. "This world is where the Council said we might find answers. And allies." Alara nodded, excitement and worry twisting together in her chest. The Council of Areen Vala had been distant but ever watchful. They had promised help, but she had no idea what form it would take. The thought of stepping onto a world she had never seen filled her with both hope and nerves. The craft began its descent, moving carefully through the upper atmosphere. Light glinted off the water and forests below. Alara could see mountains rising like silver peaks and strange creatures swimming near the coast. The view made her heart race. This was a world of possibilities, and she knew that her next choices would shape not just her journey, but the future of her kingdom. "Do you think anyone is waiting for us?" she asked, turning to Jace. Jace checked the instruments. "Most likely," he said. "The Council isn't likely to send a message without someone on the ground to meet us. But we don't know who or what we'll find." The craft finally touched down on a soft green plateau surrounded by forested hills. The landing was gentle, leaving small marks in the grass. Alara stepped out first, feeling the soft warm earth under her boots. The air smelled fresh and vibrant, carrying hints of flowers, minerals, and something faintly metallic. It was unlike any place she had ever been. Jace followed her, surveying the surroundings. "Stay close," he said. "We don't know the terrain or what might be nearby." Alara nodded. Despite the new world, she felt a sense of calm. There was life here. Not just creatures, but a feeling of purpose, of possibility. Her journey had taken her from desert dunes to endless stars, and now to a vibrant planet that seemed almost alive. Suddenly a soft sound carried through the trees, like singing, but not human. Alara froze, straining to listen. "What is it?" she whispered. "I don't know," Jace admitted, "but it sounds peaceful." From the trees emerged beings unlike anything Alara had seen. They were tall and graceful, with skin that shimmered like sunlight on water and eyes that glowed faintly in the dim light. Their clothing looked woven from light itself, flowing like liquid fabric around them. They carried no weapons, but moved with authority and confidence. Alara's heart leapt. "Who are they?" she asked. One of the figures stepped forward, raising a hand in greeting. "Welcome, Queen Alara," said a voice that seemed to resonate in the air. "We are the Luminaris, caretakers of this world. We received your signal and have come to guide you." Alara felt a rush of relief. After days of uncertainty, she was finally meeting allies, beings who seemed wise and kind. She took a step forward, then paused. "You know who I am?" she asked. The Luminaris nodded. "We know much about the kingdoms of your galaxy. Your call reached us, carried on waves of light. We sensed your need, and we came." Jace relaxed slightly, but his eyes remained sharp, scanning the surrounding forest. "We're grateful for your help," he said. A tall Luminaris bowed gracefully. "Your journey has been long. Rest here, and we will share knowledge that may guide your next steps." Alara's heart swelled. This was the moment she had hoped for. Guidance, allies, and perhaps a way to find her missing protectors. Yet she could feel the weight of responsibility pressing on her shoulders. She was not just a visitor here, she was a queen, and the safety of her people depended on her decisions. The Luminaris led them through the forest, where sunlight danced in patterns on the soft ground. Strange flowers glowed faintly, and small animals peeked from behind trees. Everything felt alive, harmonious, and gentle. Alara felt a sense of wonder she had not experienced in years. "This world is beautiful," she whispered. "It is," said Jace. "And it seems safe, but let's stay alert. Sometimes beauty hides challenges." Alara smiled faintly. He was always careful, always prepared, yet never cold or harsh. That balance was what she trusted most about him. They arrived at a clearing, where a large crystalline structure rose from the ground like a giant flower. Light shimmered across its surfaces, refracting into colors that danced across the nearby trees.
The Luminaris gestured toward the structure.
"This is the Hall of Guidance," the tall Luminaris explained. "Here, you may find answers to your questions, and a path forward." Alara stepped closer, feeling the strange warmth of the crystals. It was calming, almost like a soft embrace. She turned to Jace, who nodded encouragingly. "Let's go inside," he said. Inside the hall, the walls glowed faintly, and soft music-like tones filled the air. Panels of light displayed maps, symbols, and star charts. Alara's eyes widened. She could see parts of her galaxy she had never imagined, planets and systems connected by streams of light. One of the Luminaris spoke, their voice gentle and clear. "Your protectors vanished in a region beyond the Veil of Shadows. We cannot reach them directly, but we can give you tools to find them and to understand the forces at work." Alara's brow furrowed. "The Veil of Shadows? What is it?" "It is a zone of unstable energy," the Luminaris explained. "Ships and signals often fail there. Many travelers lose their way. Your guardians may have been trapped, or drawn to the light that comes from beyond. Only those with courage and cleverness can navigate it safely." Jace glanced at Alara. "We'll find them," he said quietly.
Alara nodded.
"We have to. They were the ones who kept me safe." The Luminaris gestured toward a panel of glowing symbols. "This device will help you map paths through the veil. You must learn its patterns, its rhythms. Only then will you safely reach the region where your protectors might be." Alara reached out, touching the panel. Light flowed through her fingers almost like water, and images of distant systems and swirling cosmic clouds appeared. She felt a thrill of understanding, as though the universe itself was offering guidance. "This is incredible," she whispered. "It feels alive." "It is alive," said the Luminaris. "Everything in the universe is connected, Queen Alara. The key is learning to listen." Jace stepped beside her. "Then let's learn," he said. Together. For the rest of the day, they explored the Hall of Guidance. The Luminaris taught them how to read the light patterns, how to interpret the flow of cosmic energy, and how to use the maps to plan a safe route. Alara's mind was full of wonder, yet she remained focused. Every piece of knowledge brought her closer to her goal, finding her missing protectors and securing the future of her kingdom. As night fell, the forest around the hall glowed softly. Bioluminescent flowers lit the paths, and gentle creatures roamed nearby. Alara and Jace sat outside, looking at the sky. The stars above were unfamiliar, yet bright and welcoming. Do you think we'll really find them? Alara asked, her voice low. Jace put a hand on her shoulder. I know we will. It won't be easy, and it won't be quick. But we have guidance now, and we have each other. That is more than many have. Alara smiled faintly. You always know what to say, don't you? I try, he said with a small smile. They stayed under the stars long into the night. Alara felt hope stir stronger than ever. She had been alone, abandoned by those she relied upon. Yet now, with Jace and the Luminaris, she could see a path forward. The universe was vast, but it was not empty. It held guidance, allies, and light, enough for her to continue her journey. And so as the twin moons of this strange world rose into the sky, Queen Alara and her human soldier companion prepared for the next stage of their adventure. They had left the deserts of Areen Vala behind and stepped into a world full of life, knowledge, and possibility. Tomorrow they would begin learning to navigate the Veil of Shadows. Tomorrow their courage and cleverness would be tested. But tonight, under alien stars and glowing forests, they allowed themselves a moment of peace and the quiet excitement of hope that no matter how far one travels, light can always be found in the darkness. The morning sun filtered through the glowing canopy of the alien forest. Queen Alara stretched, feeling the soft grass beneath her boots. Beside her, Jace Corbin packed supplies for the day, moving with his usual calm precision. Today would mark the first step into the Veil of Shadows, a mysterious region the Luminaris had warned them about, a place of unstable energy and strange cosmic currents where navigation was tricky and patience would be tested. Alara felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. She had studied the maps the Luminaris provided, tracing paths through swirling light patterns that represented safe routes. Yet theory was one thing. The reality of stepping into the Veil was another. We're ready, Jace said, his voice steady. Are you sure about this? Alara nodded. We have to try. My protectors might still be trapped there. And even if they aren't, this is the way to secure our kingdom's future. Together, they entered the scout craft, which had been outfitted with new instruments to detect shifts in the Veil's energy. The craft lifted gracefully from the glowing forest clearing, its engines humming in harmony with the soft light of the alien planet. As they ascended, Alara gazed out at the world below. The forests stretched endlessly, and the twin moons hung low on the horizon, casting a faint silver glow. She felt a sense of wonder and a small pang of longing. So much beauty existed in the galaxy, yet she had been forced to travel alone through darkness and uncertainty. Now hope pulsed within her like a living thing. Jace piloted the craft toward the edge of the veil. The space ahead shimmered, the air seeming to bend and ripple. Light twisted strangely as though reality itself was fluid. Alara felt a faint tremor through the craft as they approached the boundary. This is it, Jace said. Keep your hands inside the cabin. The energy here can play tricks on perception. Alara swallowed her nervousness. She could see patterns of glowing light swirling ahead, like rivers of color suspended in air. Each shift of hue and movement represented currents of energy they would need to navigate carefully. One wrong turn could leave them lost for hours, or even days. The craft entered the veil, and the stars outside stretched into long, shimmering streaks. It felt as if they were flying through a dream. Alara gripped the edge of her seat, amazed and awed by the colors and shapes flowing around them. The instruments on the dashboard beeped softly, warning them of stronger energy zones. Jace guided them carefully, his hands steady on the controls. Follow the currents, he instructed. Don't fight them. Let them guide us. Alara nodded. She leaned forward, watching the patterns of light twist and turn. Slowly, she began to understand. The veil wasn't just a barrier. It was alive. It flowed, pulsed, and reacted to movement. By moving in harmony with it, they could navigate safely. Hours passed, yet neither Alara nor Jace grew tired. The craft moved gracefully through the currents, sometimes dipping through waves of violet and blue, sometimes rising on streams of golden light. Occasionally, a pattern would shift unpredictably, and Jace's quick thinking would steer them clear. This is incredible, Alara whispered. I've never seen anything like it. Jace smiled faintly. It's beautiful, but stay focused. Even beauty can be tricky here. Suddenly, the veil rippled violently, tossing the craft slightly. Alara's heart jumped, but Jace adjusted the controls immediately, and the ship stabilized. It's a test, Jace said calmly. The veil shifts when it senses hesitation. Keep your mind steady. Alara took a deep breath, closing her eyes for a moment. She felt the rhythm of the veil, letting her instincts guide her hands lightly on the panel. Slowly, the current smoothed, as if accepting her presence. Hours passed like this, movement, observation, adjustment. Alarare realized that navigating the Veil required patience, calm, and trust, not just in the instruments or in Jace, but in herself. She felt a strange connection forming, as if the Veil responded to courage and clarity of purpose. By the time the twin moons of the distant planet had risen behind them, the first faint outlines of land appeared beyond the shimmering currents. Islands floated like emerald jewels surrounded by glowing mist. This was the edge of the Veil, the safe region where her protectors might have been trapped. "We made it," Jace said softly, relief clear in his tone. Alara leaned forward, staring at the islands. Her heart leapt. Somewhere out there, her protectors waited. Perhaps exhausted, perhaps lost, but alive. She felt a wave of determination wash over her. The craft descended toward the largest island. The landscape was surreal. Hills of crystal-like grass, rivers that sparkled like liquid light, and forests with leaves that glowed faintly in the darkness. Strange animals peeked from the shadows, some with luminous feathers, others with flowing forms that seemed almost weightless. "Be careful," Jace said. "The terrain is unfamiliar. The instruments are less reliable here." Alara nodded, gripping her cloak. "We'll be careful, but we have to keep going." They landed near the forest edge. As they stepped out, the soft ground felt alive under their feet. Alara marveled at the beauty and oddity of the place. The air carried a faint hum, a vibration that seemed to resonate with her heartbeat. Suddenly a soft light appeared between the trees. Alara froze. Jace moved instinctively in front of her, ready. The light slowly took form. Figures emerged, humanoid but faintly translucent, their shapes glowing with gentle, pulsating light. They made no sound, yet Alara felt their presence as warmth and calm. "They are not dangerous," Jace whispered. The figures approached, moving gracefully, and one extended a hand. A soft, melodic voice filled the air. "Welcome, travelers. We are the Shadari, guardians of this region. We sensed your journey through the Veil and came to guide you." Alara stepped forward cautiously, then relaxed slightly. "I am Queen Alara of Arinvala," she said. "We seek my protectors." They disappeared in this region. The lead Shadari bowed gently. "We know of them. They are trapped, yes, but safe. Courage and loyalty brought you here. Follow us, and you will find them." Alara's heart swelled with hope. "Thank you," she said, her voice trembling slightly. Jace nodded. "Then let's go," he said. The Shadari led them through forests of glowing leaves and rivers of flowing light. The path was mesmerizing, yet required focus. Every step revealed new wonders. Trees that hummed softly, flowers that emitted patterns of color like messages, and creatures that seemed to understand their presence. Finally, they arrived at a clearing where a small group of her protectors stood. They looked tired, but unharmed. Relief and joy surged through Alara. "My protectors," she cried, running toward them. The protectors embraced her, their faces bright with relief and happiness. Jace watched quietly, a small smile on his lips, proud of her courage and the journey they had undertaken. "We thought we were lost forever," said one protector. "But your beacon reached someone, and your courage guided you through the Veil." Alara smiled, tears forming in her eyes. "And I had help," she said, looking at Jace. The Shadari nodded gently. "You have shown wisdom, courage, and patience. That is why you succeeded." Alara felt a sense of completeness. She had ventured through unknown worlds, navigated the shifting Veil, and found her protectors. But more importantly, she had grown, not just as a queen, but as a traveler, a learner, and a leader who could face uncertainty with grace. As night fell, the stars above the glowing forest sparkled brighter than anywhere she had ever seen. Alara and her protectors, along with Jace, set up camp for the night, feeling a quiet sense of peace. The journey through the Veil had been difficult, but the rewards were clear: guidance, reunion, and hope. Before sleep, Alara looked at Jace. "We've come far," she said softly. He smiled. "And tomorrow, we'll go further. There's still much to learn, and much to do." Alara nodded. For the first time in a long while, she felt confident. Together, with her protectors and Jace, she could face the challenges ahead. And with hope as their guide, no distance, no mystery, and no shadow could stop them.